This is hands down one of the favorite interviews I've ever done. The immediate thing that comes to mind was the 24 hours before that I was in Palermo, stuck in a hostel that was an absolute disaster, and I arrive in Badalucco, this beautiful city in northern Italy, where I was essentially treated to a day and night by the main olive oil producer there, Paolo. You could find his brand Roy throughout most Italy's in the world, and even besides the brand, he's doing so much in that town in order to make it great. It was an incredible time, and this specific interview was absolutely amazing. The first part of the interview is us discussing our backgrounds and where we come from and comparing the differences between New York City and Italy. Then we talk about the olive oil industry and dive into the specifics of making olive oil and the difficulties of doing it in Badalucco, where the terrain is very hilly. And in the end, in the last 3 minutes, the camera cuts out, but you get some cool footage of Badalucco. So make sure you don't miss that. And now, episode 3 of the Junk Food Podcast. I grew up in a suburban town, different than this. This is more of a central community.
Yeah.
For us, communities are at houses. So you go to someone's house, like you'd have people here, but there's no central meeting spot. Doesn't exist. And then I go to college. Then I was in New York City, but in New York City, people, they don't grow their own things. It's not, that's not very common. So usually you go to someone's house or a party, you bring a bottle of wine from the wine shop, not from a producer, like, you know, it's way different in New York. So people in New York, the way that we think is like, we want to like go to Italy, Spain, the Mediterranean, and like live their life because it's like amazing. They have everything that we don't. And people in Italy.
It's the same for us when we think about America. It's always like this. So when you see different places, you always think, oh, they stay better than us. They have better services and everything. We are lucky here because we are exactly in a small village. So our community, it's really strong.
Yeah.
And for us, there's like, you can meet at someone else's house or everything. But the bar made the center of the life. So you always see, you go there, you see you're gonna meet someone, or let's meet at the bar, and you start in 2, and maybe at the end of the night you're like 20, like drinking, partying, and everything.
That's nice. And like going into that night, how many of those 20 people do you typically know beforehand?
They're all friends of mine since we were child.
So they come, but you don't plan it. They just come and you hang out.
Sometimes we plan. We say, okay, let's meet at the bar.
And sometimes
sometimes you just go and you're sure that you're going to meet someone.
Yeah, and then the opposite for me in the big city is like it's very hard to go when there are so many options. How many options are there for bars here? How many bars?
No, here there are like 4 or 5 bars.
4 or 5 bars here, and this is New York City. It's 4 or 5 bars every block, so you can't just go in and expect your friends to show up. It's different.
Yeah, it's
so
different.
You have so much optionality. You're like, oh my god, like what do I do? And I think there's something really nice to the village life of, you know, not having too many options. It's like
you walk there, or the ones you take the car. Imagine that for us. I mean, the dimension of New York are the dimension of our province. So to me, if I move to Badalucco, from Badalucco to Arma, there's gonna be other bars. In Taggia, other bars. In Sanremo, other bars. So practically, it's like being a big city, but composed by all different small villages.
Yeah, that's really cool though. But like nothing's walkable. Everything is more for you drive to.
Yeah, because like from here to Arma by car is 10 minutes. It's 8 kilometers, so by foot it's pretty long. And
plus, just it takes a couple hours to walk there, and then you have to walk back.
Yeah,
it's not necessarally worth it. And then you have Taggia on the water.
Yeah, Taggia. Yeah.
Is that a popular town for tourists?
No. It's more popular Badalucco because it's more beautiful people. I mean,
that's what I like. I don't want the tourists. I want the locals.
Yeah, Badalucco, it's more like smiling people. Like you can really enjoy. You're right. In Taggia, there are some places also like this, but it's a different style.
What's the big city around here that you'd say tourists go to in Liguria?
Sanremo, it's the closest and the biggest, like 50,000 inhabitants.
Oh, that's way big. And this is what, 1,000?
1,000.
Yeah, much different. It's 50 times the size.
Yeah.
In January is when I started this whole project of olive oil. I took a trip to Italy and just kind of scan the bottles and get a sense of what's wrong in the market. And there were a couple of bottles that stand it out. Have your bottle look a little different than everyone else, but also kind of communicate your message without words. And that's, something that I think a lot of producers don't do. They'll write like an essay on the bottle, and I'm not necessarily for that. And I saw a bottle that had a lemon on it, just a lemon. And I'm like, well, this is an amazing idea. Like, how much information do you need? It's lemon olive oil. And if you want to look, then you look at the tag and you get the whole
you get all the
thing.
information.
But that's kind of what stuck out about ROI to me. And that was in January. And then fast forward to June, I guess I gave you that compliment at the conference, and you were nice enough to let me come here now in November. And Paolo, it's great to speak with you here.
My pleasure, my pleasure. After the fancy food to have you here, it was a long trip for you, so it's pretty nice.
Yeah, and I guess talk about fancy food for a second. Like how long have you been attending that conference for?
My father used to do that since 90s, I think.
Oh wow!
And after we stopped for a period when we closed the company in the US, we used to have the Roy USA company.
Really?
Yeah, because a friend of my father moved there, so they said, okay, let's open a company together. And after he moved back, so when he moved back, we just closed the company and moved to work with different importers.
Right.
And anyway, now I restarted 5 years ago doing the fancy food, winter and summer. And it's a food show that I like really a lot. Yeah, especially the one in New York.
Yeah.
To me, it's really a good show. Yeah.
I guess so. There are two perspectives. Well, actually, three. There's one from the producer standpoint, like you're selling your product, and there's also the attendee. From a producer perspective, because I was an attendee. What benefits do you get from that show? Like, why do you want to be there?
So this kind of show is the place where you can get in contact directly with possible customers. So importers, distributor, restaurant managers, shop manager, whatever. So there's a digital, but get in contact with someone that you don't know. For business in digital, it's still a bit complicated because people don't have the direct relation, so they cannot create a real contact. With the food show, you met, you talk, and there's something that you can share with. You start a project or you start a collaboration with a few products, and after maybe it can grow, everything could happen. So it's really important for companies to do food shows. This way you can really get the real customers. So get maybe new distributors in the US or in a special country. So
I don't know if you know this information, but when your dad started at the food shows, was he one that didn't have a distributor importer in the United States? Or at least was there a point in time where you didn't
At the beginning, there was no distributor. So nowadays we are used to have internet. But when my father started in the 70s selling abroad, the only way to get distributor was to go there, be there, and meet people. That was the only way, no other one. Nowadays we are used to internet, so we said, okay, but I can also stay at the office and get contacts.
Right.
But many of the buyers are from the age of my father, so they work as my father, so they want to see people, they want to meet people to make business. So it's really important still nowadays, go to the food show and create real connection.
That's something that I love about olive oil. It kind of spans the generations. A lot of the producers they're not like 23 years old and on TikTok. Like these are people that have been around for many years and still stick to like old school methods. And for me, this industry, even though I have to use a computer a lot, I feel like it is way more of a personal, and that's only from the work standpoint. The product itself is, there's like stories to tell, and there's a lot that goes into like what olive oil is versus like software as a service. It's a completely different world. I feel the need to be at a show like that rather than reach out online. And also there is a chance that you stumble upon a producer that you didn't have intention.
Also, some producer, they're not so good on web. So maybe they don't communicate, they don't have a website, or you can just check and see some pictures, but maybe they have a really good products. So food shows are also the place where you can go and physically you see something. And also, if a food show is crowded, it would never be crowded as in the internet.
Right.
Because if in the internet you write like extra virgin olive oil, you have thousands and thousands and thousands of results. If you go to a food show, you can maybe have 100.
And by the
200.
100 is still a lot at a food.
It's a lot.
For me, I wasn't overwhelmed. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Because if you're at the fancy food show for another product, you don't really realize. Like I didn't know how many coffee places there were or how many gelato places there were, but I know that like olive oil, there were so many. And
there's so many, because it's a famous product. It's a product that in US there's a huge consumption because the food. There's many Italians that live there, many Europeans that live there, and for European like the Mediterraneans, olive oil is part of the diet. So if you live there, you have a bottle of olive oil at your place. And to cook, usually you can use also the seeds oil and everything. But actually, if you work with the extra virgin, it's going to be different. So it's something with much more taste. It's more complicated to use it. Also because if you use like the seeds oil, you can fry everything you like in and you don't get flavor, you don't get taste to the food. if you fry with the extra virgin, you're gonna recognize it. You're gonna feel it's fried in extra virgin olive oil because it's typical. Like in Liguria, when you do the frying, you deep fry in extra virgin olive oil, and it's a totally different taste.
I actually have a question because I don't know much about frying, and I've been asked cooking olive oil questions before, but I'm not an expert. When you fry, are you supposed to use the oil a second time if you're in a kitchen? Like if you're frying with extra virgin olive oil?
It depends. So the important things is to keep it clean. So always remove everything from the oil, so it never left something inside.
No potato skin or anything like that.
And plus, never you don't have to go above in Italian it's 190 Celsius.
We could do the conversion.
Yeah, I don't know in Fahrenheit. Above this limit, the olive oil is going to be ruined.
So like 385 about. Something.
And so in any case, it doesn't matter if you use 1, 2, or 3 times, it's ruined. Also the first time because you went above the limit, you went over the limit. So if you keep it under the 190, you can fry it. And there's restaurants that fry 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So for the restaurant that in theory the best thing is to change every day.
Get expensive though.
You get expensive, yeah, but it's something that you must share with your customer.
So for extra virgin olive oil in the United States, there are a lot of restaurant owners that happen to be called stubborn in a way. And like they buy cheap oil and customers don't complain and they have a certain flavor profile. And then if you change the oil to a higher quality oil, the flavor profile that the customers like isn't necessarily there. So there's like this kind of double-edged sword of how do you convince the chef to use the better oil if the customers aren't satisfied? Or like how do you...
It's a mind change. So it's something, of course, like good stuff have taste. Mass production have no taste because the mass don't think about taste. They just want to have a standard product. They don't care about this is made this way. No, I want my pasta dish, and I want it always the same. I don't care about what you use and why. No, it's always the same. If it tastes less, it's better to me. Or if you have just a point in a spiciness or this stuff or a bit of umami. I don't really care about the product you're using. And if you fry in oil, for example, I don't want to taste the olive oil because I'm not used to it. Because my culture never gave me the possibility to understand the product deeply. So it's just a matter, like, here in Italy, people are used to high quality olive oil, more or less. Not most of them, but some of the people. And so they can understand why it's made in a way or tastes in a way or the other. We have many customers here in Italy that they grown up with the olive oil, so not the extra virgin olive oil, so the one made by raffination of the product. So it means you start from something that you cannot,
refining, like refined olive
something
oil.
that you cannot eat and you refine it.
Yeah, extra light, whatever you want to call it.
And it's properly like it have nothing good for your body inside. Nothing. It's all burned. But there are people that grown with this taste, so no taste. And for them, the olive oil is the right taste that an extra virgin olive oil should have. So it should taste as nothing. That's the biggest problem.
This reminds me of when I was getting introduced to alcohol, and this is wine in particular. I used to have like red grape juice during like holidays or whatever instead of wine. I used to drink red grape juice my whole life until I got introduced to wine. But my first times having wine, I didn't like it. I was like, I want grape juice more. This is not grape juice. Now, of course, things have changed because with anything, tea, so many things take time to adjust from you need to try, say, like 10 times in order to even have your mind opened up to it. And it's really hard to convince people that a certain olive oil is better than another. Yeah, but do you try converting customers here in Italy ever? Or
also.
So you still you deal with that problem as well?
Yeah, same problem. Also in Italy, most of the people are not used to extra virgin olive oils. They neither know what extra virgin olive oil is.
Wait, so do you think Italians are more stubborn because they think they know olive oil? Yeah. And they know bad olive oil as olive oil? That's crazy. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, it happened a lot. They think to know, because Italians always think to know everything. So when you try to say something to Italians, they always say, "Oh yeah, I know." But in reality, it's not like that. So we are one of the main country for production, for agriculture, for biodiversity. We don't know anything, and we eat really bad stuff. Most of us, because we don't care. So it's always like this. If we would start like caring about the product, it would be amazing. Everyone could understand how the olive oil is produced. People neither know how it's produced. They extra virgin olive oil. And what's the difference between olive oil or extra virgin olive oil? They probably don't care. They say, oh, I just want to spend like €3 per liter, no more. And they don't think that at €3 per liter at the supermarket, it's practically impossible that there is olive inside. Because you must pay something for the olive. Olive oil is the 10% of the total weight. That's a bottle, a label, two label, cap, box, transport, the margin of the supermarket, the margin of the producer, a small margin for the one who cultivate the olives, plus all the costs. How you can make a bottle for €3
Exactly,
and have a margin?
Use plastic bottles, bottom of the barrel olive oil.
Yeah, you bottle something that is not extra virgin olive oil.
From 2 or 3 years ago, and you could buy for really cheap and then put in bulk. I mean, you could.
Yeah, you can buy in bulk and everything. Free. And the problem is that extra virgin olive oil, it's an auto certification. So it's me, producer, saying this one is an extra virgin olive oil. I don't need to ask to anyone.
Are you basically saying that? Because I hear that you need to certify your oil as extra virgin.
If it's a PDO.
So if it's,
just if it's a PDO or an IGP. All the rest, it's an auto certification. So it's me saying, to me, that's an extra virgin. And until someone say, no, to me, that's not, I want to do an analysis, that's an extra virgin.
They have to come to you. So why do the big blended extra virgins exist still? If they're so big, but they're not.
Because people that buy these oils don't know how real olive oil tastes. It's a perfect system.
Yeah.
So people who buy that, they don't know the real taste of the olive oil. They don't care about that.
Because there are 7,000 other foods for them to care about. It's just another thing.
They probably don't care about the food taste in general. No. They don't love food. They don't love cook, anything. So for them, say, okay, I pay €3. They never tasted a real olive oil. So for them, this taste, like the rancid and all the mud, and that's the taste of the olive oil.
Right.
So they never complain about, that's bad.
So, but this is where it gets weird, because I love food and I love olive oil. But before January, I bought Trader Joe's oil regularly and didn't think twice about it. I never thought of like what a nice brand of olive oil would be, even though I did love food. And it's like another level. But I do agree with what you're saying.
It's like this. I mean, it's amazing, but it's a part of the market that exactly like that. So it's a perfect system. People who buy will never complain because they don't know the real taste of the product.
And I think if they did understand the real taste, it would be applied more to dishes.
Yeah, sure.
That's what happens.
If all the people, like if at school, there could be, again, the kind of food education. People can grow knowing exactly how a product is made and how it should taste in general. So being able to recognize like the 3 defects of the oil. That's all. So understand that if you feel like this rancid is not a good olive oil.
Yeah.
Or stuff. It's really, really simple. It's something that in your life you're gonna get this information, and the market will change. It's gonna take maybe 20 years.
It will change.
100%. Years, but it will change. And all this, the company.
No, I'm saying it'll be more like this.
Oh, no.
No, you don't think it'll be like wine. I'm saying I think olive oil will be more like wine.
Oh, yeah, sure. And by the way, we can also have a sip.
Okay, wait, what is this wine while we're on the subject?
It's not a Ligurian wine, but it's a grape that's also cultivated in Liguria. It's a Vermentino. It's really like fresh with a good acidity. It's really pleasant. This one is a producer from Sardinia. Salute. Vermentino di Gallura. It's good. It's on the coast.
Oh, that tastes nice.
Sardinian coast. Yeah, it's really like straight, like a blade, not sugary. It's like you were saying before. So people, if you have to get used to taste. So when you start drinking like sparkling wines, you start with the sweet one, something that have more sugar.
Right.
If you continue drinking, you will like always remove sugars till you drink exactly the grape. So like the Padosé or the Zero, all this kind of product, because in this way you can really feel the product. You can really feel what you're drinking. You can really feel the work of the man in the cave and everything. So it's always like this. The more you use, the more you get shaped and ready to go always like forward.
Yeah, and you're talking to someone who knows nothing about wine. Wine, great. I have a question about olive oil. So with that same argument, how you need sugar for people to get acclimated to the good wines that are like drier. So olive oil is a similar idea with like polyphenols, I feel like.
Yeah, kind of. So polyphenols make a part. They are the healthy part of the olive oil. So it's not means that the more you have, the the best it is, because it's something that we must eat. It's not a medicine. So the important things to recognize a good olive oil is the balance. You can have a good mild olive oil, a good strong olive oil, a good medium olive oil. Important things that smell, taste with like fruitiness, bitterness or sweetness, and the spiciness are balanced. When you get this, it could be wine or olive oil or any product, you're gonna be good. You're gonna say and know exactly that's a good product. And polyphenols are the things that people are not used to olive oil, so a strong olive oil would be much more difficult for them to start with.
Yes.
For us, it's really good because we work with the Tajasca, and Tajasca it's really mild olive oil. It's sweet, but it's not some like the wine, because wine is something you're with friends, you open a bottle, you finish a bottle.
Right.
You don't finish a bottle of oil.
I mean, if you finish a bottle of oil in a sitting, you're what's going to happen?
You dress.
You'll be on the toilet for like a year.
So it's something that you use in a different way. So if for the wine, it's a matter of taste. So you said, okay, I like this because I can drink it more. With the olive oil, it's also a matter of taste, but not extreme with the wine. So you can pour and you can also match dishes by dishes. So you can make a correlation one and the other. We love to work with the sweet one because people used to the butter or animal fat.
Right.
They can move to the olive oil with Tajasca because it's not too intense, so it's not so spicy, not bitter, so you can change it and have a better and healthy life, because olive oil, of course, it's a good fat, better than the butter. So you can move from a bad fat to a good fat and start like cooking and dressing with a new product.
And I think you make a good point about like the spectrum of mild to medium to strong olive oils. And this is a great entry-level olive oil for people that can't taste and be...
Tajasca is properly... We are lucky because we are working with... Imagine that in Italy, the sweet olive oil, mild olive oil can weight maybe 8% of the total production, more or less.
Yeah.
Tajasca weight 0.8 of the Italian production, so nothing. But we are lucky because Tajasca name became really famous in the high kitchen. Michelin star restaurant, all the chefs are looking for Tajascas. Some of them know why it's called Tajasca. Most of them don't know why.
Doesn't matter as long as they think it, yeah.
But in any case, they look for Tajasca. And so we're looking because we have it.
That's perfect. My theory with olive oils is I like owning ones across the spectrum. This is like a great mild olive oil. I've tasted it. It's great. But like, it's not going to get me coughing. That's not the type of oil it is. That's more like Cortina.
Yeah, the Cortina, it's, if not the most, one of the most strong olive oil.
Yeah.
And with low on polyphenol, it can reach, I think, like 900, 950. It's really, really strong, extremely strong. It's something that you must prepare for that.
Yeah.
But it's so strong that you practically cannot use on dishes because you would feel just the olive oil.
Okay, so I was at a restaurant in Bari and they had, I think it was a DiCarlo. It was there from last year and I tasted their, it was one of their oils and I always dunk my bread in there. Dunked it in and I immediately was like, oh my God, this is so bitter. I couldn't even eat it. I was like, this doesn't taste that good. Maybe I thought it was me. I thought I was like having issues in my taste.
Because bitterness is not a bad taste of the olive oil. It's a parameter, so it's good that if it's like bitter. But as I said before, it's the balance. So maybe if everything, so you have a strong and complex perfume.
Yeah.
You drink it and you get the real bitterness and the real spiciness. So all in line, that's good. If you get maybe a mild taste, strong bitterness, and a low spiciness, there's something that doesn't work. So something during the production went bad.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah, but if you use Coratina is going to be strong in every point. Fruitiness, spiciness, and bitterness.
It's complex olive varietal, and it's like the king of the
it's an olive oil that usually many people use for blend, cut other oil, so you can buy...
It has strength.
Yeah, you give strength.
The big companies. Yeah.
I mean, we also have a line of oil that we blend, 2 lines. So, but we don't use Coratina. We use because we like to do mild olive oils in season like this, like the 2022. All the oils are going to be stronger than the normal because they had practically no water all year long.
Right.
So no water, more stress for the tree, more wood, and so the olive oil is going to be much more in contact and everything. It's going to taste more dry, more strong.
More spice.
Yeah, more squared. I love to taste stuff with like shapes, giving shapes to taste. If it tastes usually Tajasca, it's really like rounded. It's like a curve. This year you don't feel a proper curve. You feel like the angle are more like shaped, so like a square.
And what's your thought of that? Like, do you like the fact that it's more like a square, or you prefer a curve?
No, I prefer. That's not the real Tajasca, but in all the oils this year to find also with the strong oils, but to find a balance in here like this is extremely difficult. So all our colleagues are making a lot of effort, like us, to make a good product, because it's you're probably working on the line, because it's too much.
Different producers use different methods, but how do you approach balancing your flavor? Like, if you have one element that's too strong, what do you do to counteract it at the mill?
So it's a matter of water, temperature, and the way you crush the olive.
Could you dive into each, the water, temperature, and the crush?
We crush with the method with the stone. So in this way, we can put a low pressure on the fruits. In this way, we help a bit to have a more rounded olive oil.
Sorry, could you explain why crushing with a stone versus no stone makes a difference?
Practically, it's probably a different mechanics on the two methods. So stones, it's more light. So it doesn't crush, it doesn't warm it up too much, because it passes through, it's broken, and it make a bigger grain. So the olives are not like properly like pulp, smashed, but they're a bit bigger. And after they need time in the malaxer to extract the olive oil. So the olive oil is contained into the pulp, the olive. So you have skin, pulp, and seed. Into the pulp you have the water and the olive oil. Olive oil is inside the kind of micro bags. So micro drops of oil spread all over the pulp.
Yep.
When you crush the olive, you separate these three products, the solid and a bit of water, but you don't separate the olive oil from the paste. The olive oil will remain stuck inside. You need a part of chemics, natural chemics. So the malaxer do this job. So keep the paste at 27 degrees. Yeah, sure. And practically, so there is this passage while the chemists act. So at 27 degrees Celsius, the paste is moved really slowly. Mm-hmm. And in this way, chemics and the smashed seeds, the smashed stone, can help to cut and open all these micro bags. In this way, in 20 minutes, usually 20, 25, depends a lot on what type of olive you're working.
Right.
It could be also 30 minutes, 35. It will open everything, and this way the olive oil will be out of its cage.
Yeah.
After that, you're ready to separe the other three products. So to separe solids, water, and olive oil, or solids and water and olive oil.
Do you do it by an eye test, or is there a mechanical
No, it's a mechanic
sensor
that
says
for
like you say when the oil and the paste?
It's an eye test.
Okay, so you're there like manning the
yeah. There's the mill manager, the mill responsible. It's always there and check the paste. So you have a fixed timing. So usually it's 20 minutes, around 20 minutes. But you always check with the eyes. Being an olive miller, it's about numbers, but it's about also experience, a lot of experience.
Yeah.
So buy the olive to decide which olive are good or not, which olive could be good to make the brine or be good to make the olive oil. It's something you do with experience. You do that, you do the price, if you want to buy it and everything, it's really fast. And also during the elaboration, you still have to be so focused on that. So stay there, you check the paste and everything. You see properly the color. When you get the paste in the malaxer, it's more matte. So it's not shiny. After 20 minutes, it starts becoming shiny. You have all the olive oil,
the droplets
surface
on top. It's the best. I love seeing that.
You probably see everything.
It starts to smell nice. Well, actually, you have it closed though on top, so no oxygen comes in.
No. It's just a small amount of oxygen inside the malaxer, and on the back you have a small point where you get the aeration, so you get the perfume when it's working. Yeah.
So you want to give a little oxygen to it? Is that?
Yeah, you need always a little oxygen. So if you work without oxygen at all, you wouldn't develop any perfume.
Oh, it'll trap everything in the oil.
Yeah. So you need a bit of oxygenation, not too much.
But there's a balance. It's just a tad.
It's always a balance.
A lot of producers definitely don't have the technology that you have, and they'll.
Yeah, I mean, there's many producers. Everyone have some machine and everything to work with, and also a matter of like temperature timing, and all this stuff. It makes the difference on the final product.
Right.
So that's why we try to do everything it's possible to get a balanced olive oil at the end. Also because it's not like the wine. So for wine, you pick it, you squeeze it, you decide how to squeeze it. But after in the cave, that's where you made the magic. So you put in wood, you put in steel, you put in concrete, everywhere, and you do skin or no skin. Or
With
skin
steel in wine?
Hmm?
You put steel in wine?
No, the in steel tank.
Oh, okay.
Or in wood tank and everything. So huge olive oil, once it's made, it's made. So you put in steel tank.
Done.
Done.
Then it's just going bad over time, basically.
Yeah.
Or do you let it settle, or you filter before it goes
We
in?
filter before, so we remove the heaviest part
Mhm.
of the olive oil, and after we put in the tank.
Okay. We actually skipped over one part. So you said salad, liquid, and salad, water, and oil, or
Yeah.
salad and water and oil, or something
Yeah.
like that. So what do you? So I guess could you explain that process for people? So how do you separate the? There is a little bit of a separation in the malaxation phase, and then you go into the
this one is just
the
separation.
decanter, the centrifuge. Then what happens?
So the decanter, practically, it's a big centrifuge, or that works on horizontal.
Like
it's
this.
an horizontal centrifuge. Yeah.
Yep.
So you have a big cylinder that collect all the paste. So there's a pump that push inside the mixed paste plus water, fresh water. Inside you have like a really big screw that turns in another way. So it stop the solid part and let the liquids goes on with a specific weight. So with the G-force.
Right.
In this way, with the G-force, they could be separated. They can be separated. Olive oil that's lighter and the water.
Yeah, it's like
it's
like when you're in a carnival ride and you get like stuck against the wall.
Practically, yes.
I'm the solid, and then the liquid is just like sitting and it's like continue next phase.
And they quit in terms of how much they weigh. So solid is the first one to quit, and after there's water and olive oil. But it depends a lot on which machine you're using. There's gonna be like 2 phases machine or 3 phases machine. 2 phases mean you get 2 products. First product is made with solid and the water, and the second product is the olive oil. That's not clean 100%, but it's pretty much ready.
Right.
The 3 phases, you get solid, water, and the olive oil. That's again, it's not ready, but it's still it's pretty much close to the end to be ready. After these passages, there's the last one. So we must clean the olive oil in a perfect way,
right,
to get our extra virgin. It's another centrifuge, but this time it's vertical. So you get just the liquid from the top. Inside, it spins at 8,000 RPM. You divide all the flows of olive oil and water in really small channels. In this way, it can be much more faster in dividing by specific weight. So this G-force make the olive oil flying over the water and quitting. So they have exact distances between the 2 exits, and the olive oil can rise up and quit from the top part. Wow. In this way, from there, you have the best extra virgin olive oil you can ever try, because this point is the maximum of the life of the entire olive oil. So it will never reach in any point of his life a high quality like this. Never. Because it will start like going slowly down.
Over time.
Over time.
Oxygen, temperature, all
everything. Because it's a really good product. At the same time, it's an extremely delicate product. Extremely.
Speaking of delicate product, if you have a bottle of olive oil and you open it, what is your personal shelf life? Actually, you're a little biased because you're a producer. You have unlimited. But like, how long should I keep a bottle open before do you think it will go like a little rancid? Or
so 18 months? I mean,
that's close
to be rancid. It's something that
takes a long
time.
It
doesn't depend. No, it doesn't depend on time.
Oh,
so if you get a new bottle of olive oil, you keep it close to the fireplace, to the kitchen. You cook once, the olive oil is done. It's already gone. So it's not a matter of time. It's a matter of how you keep it. So always close the bottle. Always keep the bottle in a dark place, far from eating sources. So it's brought on every bottle, but it's real stuff. So it's not just something we write like this. It's proper something that if you follow these 3 simple rules, your olive oil could last. I mean, olive oil is a conservant. It's a natural conservant. So it would never be dangerous for you. Never. In its whole entire life. Could be bad in taste, but never dangerous. Because it's made in many years ago, also nowadays, but nowadays it's more for like fancy stuff or this stuff. But in the past, to preserve vegetable, meat, they were putting under extra virgin olive oil because it's a conservant. So it will keep everything fresh. So if it's a conservant, it will never expire. So the 18 months we have to put in the bottle. And just because the law say, oh, you have to put it because this amount of time is the time where in theory the olive oil should keep its entire profile. After 18 months, we don't guarantee that the same profile will keep. So it could lose like perfumes, bitterness, depends, but it's gonna go down. In any case, we certify the olive oil from the company. So when it quit from here, it's an extra virgin. After that, if you put under a lamp, like also in supermarkets, in theory, to sell really well, to keep really well the olive oil, would be like keeping like the chocolate or wine. So it should be keep it at the best, like in a cellar, like at 16 degrees.
You think that happens in supermarkets?
No, it will never happen. Never. They put under lights, direct light, and they will burn the olive oil. So if it's an olive oil with a direct light on that, it's ruined for sure. Also, if it's there since 2 days, it's gone.
You think?
Yeah.
I never actually. Have you ever tested it before? I've never.
Yeah, because it's olive oil. It really don't like lights.
Yeah.
Strong lights and everything.
But hence, like the dark bottle typically for.
Yeah, but we use the green glass, but it's not enough.
You can only do so much. What about your white jar?
In this way, you can preserve it totally by the light. So you are sure 100%.
Zero transparency.
Yeah, zero transparency. But it will keep, in any case, the hot of the lights. Because in the shelf, these lights are really hot. So if you touch it, you can feel the light is pointed on this.
Yeah.
So it will warm it.
Very slowly.
Warm it. If you warm it, it will lose its presence, taste, and everything. It will be much more lighter and lighter and lighter till it turns to rancid. So the only defects that you can get in a bottle, if the olive oil is well made, is rancid. Because all the other
rusty
stuff, they're all made before the production or during the production. But in a bottle, if you have like this of deposit, it could be like musty.
Like this after like 12 months.
Yeah, this one, it's a fresh oil. We just bring it from that, but it's made to be used. But if you see, it's clean.
Shall we, now that it's here?
Yeah, sure.
When it comes to the material of bottles, what are your thoughts on like different materials? Do you ever try a plastic bottle? Or I guess like there's like tin, there's glass, there's ceramic and plastic. My theory has always been like plastic is the worst from like a permeability standpoint of the.
Yeah, usually yes, because
I'm not a scientist, so.
Glass, it's really good. Actually, to make the best preservation of the olive oil, the best packaging is the bagging box or the bagging tube. So the one where you have carton and inside an aluminum bag with no air filled with the olive oil and the tap. In this way, the last drop will be fresh. Like the first one, you have a double pack, so direct light doesn't affect and direct heating doesn't affect because the carton will like cover and protect what's inside. So that's the best, technically.
What if you're someone who doesn't want to spend, a lot of money on a bag in the box? Like, what if you want to only buy a 500 milliliter
glass bottle?
Glass
tin, bottle. Tin also tin. Yeah, also tin.
And ceramic, like your.
Yeah. Ceramic. I mean, they're all good. It's a matter of taste. You should try and go. And price is not all, but it's something that can tell you many things about the product. So if you see that all the rest costs $10. And this one costs $3.
It's like a hotel on like booking.com. If I see it's like $20 a night and everything else is $70, probably an issue.
And maybe check. I mean, we have the internet, so we can check tastes and everything. It's really easy. You just spend like 3 seconds.
I know. We're lazy though, naturally. We are lazy.
Write the name and see how it works and if they have something, some article, and say, okay, I want to buy it because maybe it's a special offer. So usually it costs like €50 and today it's $5.
Yeah.
So that's a deal. But it's always if it always costing like $4 and today it's $2 or $3.
That's
I don't know.
Most of America. And if the thing is if you can't afford anything, maybe that it might be the best option.
But it's not something. I mean, it's olive oil. So as we said before, it's not a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
You use for. I mean, if you're maybe in America, a liter could last for 3 months, 4 months,
depending on your consumption rate.
So if you spend like $10 per 6 months, how much did you spend for a day? Nothing.
And how much did you spend on the bottle of wine that you brought to your friend's place for $20? So only because it's not your supermarket.
It's just a matter of thinking about what you're doing.
Right.
And plus, if you buy something good, you have taste.
Right.
So you don't need like to cover everything. You need a few drops, the right amount, so it will last more.
Salt, pepper flavor, done.
Yeah.
So much flavor. There's so much flavor. All right. So this is the Taji.
That's Tajasca.
Tajasca.
That's our Krugaci. It's picked and made with just one specific olive row that we're gonna visit tomorrow.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah. It's an olive grove that starts from 300 meter and rise up to 600 meter. And the most beautiful thing is that it's surrounded by the forest, but just in front of the sea. So you have all the sea view, and plus you have the sea wind, sea breeze,
right,
that pass through the trees. This one is part of our special productions. So we pick the olive, we crush it, and we put in a separate tank. So they're not mixed in any case with anything. It's properly 100% Tajasca. They are PDO certified. So in this way, you are sure. So if you want to buy something, look for IGP or PDO, because to make this certification, you must do an external analysis.
So could you explain that? Actually, could we taste this first and then we do the explanation? All right, cheers.
So anyone, that's mild, that's pleasant. It's more strong than the normal, but you can feel the presence of the Tajasca.
Yeah, this is a nice one.
So that's the
it's a little different. Like I'm used to now. Like I was in Sicily and Puglia, and their profile, and even Spain, Picual. This is more like the Arbequina than the Picual.
Yeah, this one is really similar to the Arbequina. That's why our Spanish line of oil, it's made with the Arbequina.
Smart, because keep it in parallel.
Yeah, because our customer are used to our level of taste. So if we would do like Picual in 5 liter,
wouldn't work.
No, we do Arbequina in 5 liter, and they're good because they can cook it with that, and after they can buy the Tajasca just to dress and finish the dish. In this way, you can save money and save taste.
How do you describe Liguria for like the average person that doesn't really know anything about Italy, relative to what like? So let's just do Puglia versus Liguria. I guess easy comparison.
It's
how do you compare them?
It's totally different. I mean, Liguria is really unsimilar region. So Liguria, it's Liguria. It's so long. It's all coast and mountains. So it's a really steep region. We don't have like flat ground.
Yeah.
It's proper in the mountains. So in 1 hour, you can go skiing or go swimming at the beach. So Liguria, it's really steep, really hard to work with because the place is not easy at all for agriculture. Right. But at the same time, it's amazing as a landscape because you have everything. Liguria have a special climate, more or less everywhere. You can grow exotic, in 20 minutes from here towards the border with France. It's like the biggest exotic fruit garden.
Exotic fruits?
Yeah. So exotic fruit, like really strange fruit. But like mangoes are the most easy. No, exotic, like fruit that usually grow in the rainforest or
it's like a microclimate. It's a microclimate.
Yeah, it's a microclimate, totally different. So it's always really hot.
Yeah.
And humid and everything, and it made go for that. And it made fruit every year like this.
Yeah, I'm a little special.
Voila.
Thank you.
So you can probably grow everything, and everything get a special taste because you have this influence, this mix between the sea and the forest. So it's hard, but it's worth to make.
I have no idea.
That's one of the oldest way to close the olive oil.
All right, whatever. It's okay.
That's the first time. It's good. You learn it.
This is not my first time. That's a problem, but it's okay. We'll just move on.
In any case, yes. So it's a region that worth as tourism because a lot of services, a really beautiful type of kitchen, and village by village, it changed a lot.
It smells sweet. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, it's properly
village by village. Keep
properly
going.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So village by village, it changed like traditions, dishes, way of talking. Is still for us the dialect is still important. So all the villages here talk a different language. So you don't speak Italian, you speak dialect here. And all the old men, the old girls, and also my father and my grandfather always spoke me in dialect. Still now, all the customer from the meal speak in dialect. Yeah. So you must learn. You have to learn it, and it's so beautiful because it's part of our heritage. So we must believe in our heritage. It's so nice to hear in the village people who speak dialect. And when we travel, like I love motorbikes when I do my trips on the mountains and everything, and I change villages.
Yeah.
If I'm on the next villages, I can speak in dialect, and I know people would understand me. And if you speak, maybe you ask for direction to the old man of the village,
yeah.
And you're with the motorbike on off-road, so they're not so happy. But if you speak them in dialect,
they love
smile. You. Yeah, they will smile and love you, and they say, "Oh, go there and turn it." Like so, it's really easy. It make a connection, really strong connection between people.
How different is like traditional Italian that you'd find on Google Translate versus the dialect that?
It's really different word, different.
Is it a 100% different language or
no? Not 100%.
How would
But
you say, like, I don't know, is the same word for olive oil, same word for microphone
no,
or
like
watch?
olive oil. Yeah, in Italian it's olio. In that it's öljy.
Oil.
Öljy.
I would never understand that. They talk to me in dialect. I say I know no Italian. They're like,
And
this
like
is not even
in the
Italian.
village next to Badalucco.
Yeah.
So probably like at the border, it's called örjű.
Ulu.
Örjű. So one with the r, with the r, and the other one without. In our dialect, you don't pronounce.
Is it
You don't have the-
olio de oliva?
Olio d'oliva is öljy.
Olio de oliva.
Öljy, yeah.
They're like mumbling.
Öljy de uiva.
Yeah, they don't pronounce the syllables as much.
Yeah.
Olio de
Uiva.
oliva.
Uiva is oliva.
Uiva.
Uiva.
Easy. They kind of like, is that most words where there's
Yeah,
no,
there's
the consonants
some
aren't
words.
as
There are probably some
pronunciated.
words that they are 100% different. So probably they're not the same in proper pronounce. It's also hard because dialect is not a fraught language. So there's no way to understand how it's made, how the proper words are. It's something that you must listen, but it's all like this. And there are people that they don't know some words and people that know other words. So they always exchange. When they say something, you say, "What's that?" This one. Okay, we'll remember. Because it's a speaking language. So not book in dialect and everything.
The closest I get to that in the United States is boom, second time. In like southern states, they talk with a different accent than the north versus the west. Everyone says their words differently, but it's not. It's a little. I guess you could call, like, you know, an Australian and a Brit versus a US guy, like the bin versus the garbage can, or the rubbish versus the garbage. There may be different words, but it's not a dialect thing. It's a little different than what you have.
That's more an accent.
Right.
Like in Italy, you have the accent and the dialect. So you can feel a Ligurian accent, and you can feel with the accent if it's more towards Genoa, more towards France like us, more towards Tuscany. But with the dialect, it's proper a different language.
Okay.
Like in South Italy, you can hear the dialect from Puglia, the accent from Puglia. But after they have the language, so the dialect, and village by village, it change. So Italy is full of this biodiversity also in people and in dialect.
Do you ever travel to the south at all? Like Sicily, Puglia? Like, which areas do you usually go to?
I did twice the Italian tour with my motorbike.
Oh, that's sick.
Going like region by region and everything.
Then you go back up.
Yeah, visiting friends and the staff, producers.
It's amazing. When do you do that once a year?
No, I did in 2020, the last time, and the time before was like 2016. Because every year I try to leave for a month and spend a month around with my bike, going somewhere.
It's amazing. I've been out of the U.S. for 28 days, and I'm not on my bike right now. I'm scrambling through different transportation modes. But if it were a bike, like, that would be it's heavenly. It changes. You need that time to
Also because
reset mentally.
When you do so many stuff, you need a time for you to say, okay, I can give 100% of me for 11 months, but 1 month would be just Paolo. So just me. And this way, I don't look at the phone. I don't write to anyone. I just drive a lot. So you arrive at the end of the day, you are destroyed. And next day, again, for 30 days. Come back, you are relaxed. It's like the phoenix that burns and restart from his hash.
Sorry, I don't understand.
The phoenix, Fenice.
Yeah, just say it. Keep going.
Yeah, I mean, it's the bird. It's not a real bird, but that burns and make hash.
Oh.
Okay, and it reborn from his ash.
Oh,
So
hatch.
Yeah.
They said hash, like the.
No. When you burn something, you make.
Oh, what do you call it?
Is that the hash?
No, ash, ASH. You said. Oh, I thought you said hash.
No. Ash.
No wait, no H. Okay, yeah. Ash. I agree.
So in this way, you get practically, you destroy yourself, and after can restart from zero. The meaning of my months outside. I need to relax, but I need to do my best, to do extreme. If I do extreme, when I come back, I'm ready to restart.
Right, I agree. Like when I go to a beach and sit down and relax, I can't. It just doesn't work because then my mind just races. But if I'm like going skiing and I have intense focus that I need to put on something else outside of what I'm actually doing, it helps take my mind off it a little more. It's the idea of going into a sauna versus, like, you know, I could sit in this couch and just like stare into space, or sit in a sauna and like get the elements on me. But speaking of saunas, that
Yeah,
was
it's like this. I mean, you need time for you to develop projects, to just think about project, because sometimes you think the first time you said, oh, that could be a good idea. After you sleep on that, you think another day and everything, I say, I must change that. If you don't think, if you just act without thinking, most of the time you do stuff that they make no sense.
impulsive decisions.
Impulsive. And so sometimes are good, but if they're good, sometimes are just because you're lucky. If you think about that, you can find the best solution to say, okay, I'm going to do this move because point 1, point 2, point 3, point 5, it makes sense. It's something that if I do, I'm 80% sure, 85, that's going to work. So if I just do like that by impulse, I have like 50-50. I don't know, I can be lucky, it could work, or it can be really, really bad.
There's a balance between like, and I've made this reference, and I read a blog about like my time in Europe, and in the beginning I was like hitting the olives off the tree, and I was apparently thinking too much. So the person that was helping me was like, hey, don't think, just do. And I always think like, it's not just that. There's a balance between like thinking and doing.
Yeah.
Because you can't
if you
always,
just think,
think you'll never get anything done. But if you just do, then you'll make mishaps along the way, and it'll cause you more time in the future of thinking in order to fix what you did. So you want to like try to find that balance, which is, it's not easy, but that's what happens over time.
Yeah, and it's nice to write. Like when I do this trip, the only thing that I do every night, I wrote a journal, and I publish it. And I have many people.
I'm doing the same thing.
And I have many people that follow me just to read my journal every day. So at night, I reach home or I go to the restaurant and everything. I start writing my journey. And my journey is always funny because it always happens something. So it's when you travel by yourself, you always have some adventure or stuff, especially with the bike, doing like many kilometers. So it's nice. They have fun following me.
Right. And I'm feeling the same thing right now. It's my first time ever doing a blog, and I'm on like day 22. But people come to me, they're like, "Yeah, you made my night," and I'm like, "What?" like I'm sitting there just like in bed. I'm like, "Oh, gotta like click enter," and I like there are probably 25 typos, but I just gotta send it. I'm tired. And but like people actually really love that, and that like kind of keeps me going.
No, it's like this. So they wait for a story because they don't have story, maybe, or they're not in the time. When they have story, maybe they're gonna start their trip in a year or in 3, maybe never, but they always dream about a trip or stuff. So to see someone that's doing and read this word, it make them the day.
It's about like, I call it filling voids. Like if someone doesn't read stories about olive oil and they see a kid is doing it, then it like fills a void of like them not knowing anything about olive oil. Now they do, so they're interested. Or at least someone in Europe that, quit their job and is now traveling, finding olive oil sources. Like it's pretty rare, so it fills this void that they don't have, this entertaining piece. Or for me, like in a family member, I'm someone it's like my old job, I would work and the reward that I would get would be, I guess, money. But like that wasn't enough. Like I couldn't explain what I was doing to people. I didn't have any purpose to what I was doing, and my team, I didn't really love them. So, and they didn't love me either. It was a relationship.
When you feel it's not the right place, it's not the right place.
Right, and that's why I'm here now. I mean,
but there's crazy, many people that they know that's not the right place for them, but they keep because they're afraid of changing. Maybe changing they could be the best in another place, but they prefer to be the worst in one because they're sure that at least they have a job. They said, I'm going to continue there.
At least I'm making money. I can provide for my family.
To me, it's a problem and everything, but I have a job. I say, yeah, but you have one life. So if you have to wake up every day and do stuff and everything for something you don't like, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
No. It's something that you must change because it would be much more better. But of course, I can understand that. Also, in US could be totally different because it's much more dangerous. If you lose everything, but you can create a plan B while you're working.
Right.
So it's gonna take
out time of your day and create that plan B.
Yeah, it's gonna take much more time, much more effort for sure, but it can create for you a really beautiful life in the future.
This is where professional sports gets a little difficult because if you're someone that's like I don't know, maybe for soccer you'd understand better, but like they're in a lower league, but they're not getting paid a lot of money. They still love soccer, but then they get home and their family is like, they're not able to live the life that they want to live. Then it gets a little difficult with your happiness. Like you could be happy playing soccer, but there's an impact of that. You were born into this. You didn't really have a choice. I mean, you had a choice whether
Yeah,
you wanted
sure.
to do it.
Yeah,
But,
I studied.
actually, yeah. So you studied. Did you ever try another job before
Yeah.
this?
Yeah,
What did
I
you
was
do?
in the event planning for a company, for people, many different aspects. So from the DJing to there was the organizing part,
Mhm.
gala dinner, party evening, restaurants, meetings. I did it, and I love it. It's something that I really love because I love organizing stuff from
Right.
places to people to stuff. The logistic. It's something that I love. And I also worked in some agencies as marketing manager, marketing part for the graphic agencies or communication agencies.
Then when did you come full time onto this?
When I was 25 years old.
Close to me right now.
Yeah.
You
And
made
I
it.
spent like 3 years in Turin, 1 year in Milan, working at the Expo, and after like some months in London to learn how to speak English and meet people. I mean, I was lucky because I could choose everything I like. But at the end, I said, okay, I have a company. It's an heritage. I'm the fifth generation. So why not proceed on that and make it by my idea? Came in the company and I started working with my father. And every year I try to do my line. And plus, I opened my other businesses. So the gin. And now in 2020, I bought this brewery. So,
And developing another one as well.
yeah. And the restaurant. So it's something
And the
you really make fun. So I always wake up in the morning and I feel happy about what I'm doing
I find that so important.
because I can decide by myself strategy, why not, everything. And if you're free, you get the best and the worst.
Right.
If you do wrong, it's your fault. But if you do good, it's your merit. So
Yeah. So I guess one last question. Say that we're in a world that ROI doesn't exist, but everything else in this world does, and you are placed in, say, the middle of South Africa, where you have the climate for growing olive oil. It's not necessarily there. Would you start an olive oil company? Like, would you try to get back into the business if you had nothing, given all that you know and
I
your
really don't know
knowledge?
because if you don't know anything about olive oil,
If you know everything, did you Paulo, in this moment, you know all that you have a fixed amount of money, and you were placed in South Africa, and this whole brand didn't exist, and you had to create. Would you go back into the olive oil industry? Is it an industry that you love?
yeah. But first of all, I love
Tough
to
question. I
No,
maybe-
it's the right question, but my reply is that I'm used to check on the place I am what's the possibilities around me. So if where I am there's a possibility around olive oil, I go for that. If there's a possibility about wine, I go for wine. If I have money to invest,
Sure.
because to invest money in a
Traditionals.
proper way, it doesn't really matter what I know, but
What opportunities?
yeah,
exist?
what opportunities around. Because if you know everything about olive oil, but there's no opportunity about olive oil, and it's really competitive market. So to start from zero in an olive oil market, it's really hard because you're fighting with the biggest industries. They have billions, tons and tons of olive oil, and so it's really hard. You fight in a market where the price win most of the time. So in other place, if you see this olive oil, there's a niche in the olive oil, I go for that. So I love to go where I know that I can do my best.
I love that answer because I think that's how I view life in general. Like, if there's opportunity, go for it. That's it. And when I was in my job, I couldn't go for my opportunities. It was tough. And you could say like, oh, you work 2 jobs. But in reality, it's really hard.
It's different. I mean, with the brewery, there was the opportunity in 2020, so the COVID period,
Perfect.
and I entered in.
Imperfect, but perfect.
Yeah, I mean, this friend of mine that actually now is my partner. He was the owner of the brewery. He was doing really bad in this period, and we know since we are a child. And it was many years I said, let me in the company. So you just have to produce and I will care about everything. I will care about the management, the suppliers, everything. No. And 2020 said, yes. So I entered with my team and we probably changed it. We changed the brewery totally in organization and stuff. And now we are growing. So the first year of production, we did twice the income of the brewery. So we doubled it the first year.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, and now we're not the double, but we are growing again. And we bought new machine and everything, and the company is paying for that. So it's going well. But it's just a matter of mindset. You said, okay, I want to arrive there. I have a goal. To make this goal, I have to do this. How I can make it in the best way? Okay, this one I do this way. That's what I love. I love to create companies and manage companies in no different aspect of it could be wine, could be oil. I properly love all what's that's behind.
You're like a serial entrepreneur, but it's different because you're not like, you're starting companies that have an impact on this community. Like this is all in Badalucca. The breweries, the elementary school that you went to that went abandoned, and instead you said, okay, let's turn it into a restaurant, and now it's a restaurant. The agriturismo that you have reconstructed and is absolutely beautiful. Like this is, I mean, it's serial entrepreneurship, but it's fine.
Because the goal, don't have one company, but the entrepreneur that win,
a world.
They have a system. System is made with different companies that can help each other. A system is made with interest that can attract customers and tourists.
Right.
So if in Badalucca there's nothing and I have an agriturismo, it doesn't work. But if I have an agriturismo and a place that can show how olive oil is made, that's good. But also beside that, if I can have the only brewery where you can see how the beer is made, it's also better for one and the other. The more activities are in a village, the better it is for the entire village. And it doesn't mean that I need to own all these activities. I just want to try to start the mechanism. The
you have the ability to like create it though. That's why
I just
not
want to be able to start this system,
right,
and attract people to invest in Badalucca. Because if other people invest in Badalucca,
it becomes a better place. And this is
better
where
to everyone.
Your family has been for 130 years at least. But that's back to 1880. It could be before that too.
Could be more.
Probably is.
Yeah.
Based on like records and whatnot. But we know what happened to that. Okay, well, Paolo, it was amazing speaking to you. I guess you could find Paolo probably on Netflix at the point that this will be released on Stanley Tucci's documentary.
So on Stanley Tucci, on the Liguria and the second series Liguria episode.
Right.
And we are on Netflix on Salt, Fat, Acid and Heat. The first 10 minutes, it's on Roy.
Oh my God. Yeah. So now you got two pieces of information. If you like Paolo, you could find him there. And I guess with that, it was amazing speaking to you. Thank you very much for coming on. And then thank you for having me here as well.
Thanks a lot.
This is an absolute delight.
Salute.
Salute.